Sherry Lynn, and she's having a mid-depth superficial peel, the firming and toning peel. This is one of my favorite peels. So good for so many skin types. Good anti-aging peel. Her skin is hyperpigmented, and she's in that baby boomer era. And this firming and toning is going to just do exactly that for her skin. It's going to give her a real pickup and have the skin look a lot healthier and more refreshed. And right now I've been cleansing with the pumpkin enzyme cleanser, and we wanted to use that for just a real good thorough removal of the surface residue on her skin. So I'm going to rinse her now with warm water and gauze. And what we want to do in this treatment today, besides just overall health of the skin and to perk it up and freshen the skin, is that I want to address some of this hyperpigmentation that Sherry Lynn has. And make sure you get all the cleanser off real thoroughly. Go back and do a couple of rinses. Brightening scrub is a really good granular scrub cleanse with the grains in it, the jojoba grains, that will help to soften and buff out, polish the skin a little. It does have the lighteners in, the natural lightening agents, and that's why it's so nice to combine with some of your lightening peels, and then just for a good preparation prior to your acids. Work it in lightly like this. I'm using firm pressure, kind of rolling the beads around. But with your scrubs, the one thing you want to be aware of, even these with the nice natural jojoba beads and the natural pumice stones, that you don't over scrub. I don't like to use scrubs that have the polyethylene beads. I feel like they tear the skin, so I really avoid using those in my formulas. Real good. Now we'll remove that, and I'll use a dry gauze to take that off so that I get a little bit more of a polish to the skin in this prep stage. Sherry Lynn has had peels before. This is not her first peel. Her skin is really nice and healthy, but she's been working on the pigmentation that kind of comes and goes. And right now she's using the natural pigment cream at home, as well as the Therapy A a few times a week. Therapy A is a retinol preparation. Just for overall rejuvenation, it's a good corrective for the skin. One nice thing about this particular scrub is, although it helps to break down and polish and get the skin ready for your next step, it's not over drying, and so it actually adds a little bit of hydration to the skin, and that's important to be aware of with some of your skins when you're doing these kinds of cleanses. Rinse her good with water and gauze. We've taken off a bulk of the grains, but I want to go back now and rinse the rest of the cleanser for her. And then we'll do a closer look and evaluation of the skin, see how she is. This is going to help with the little capillaries that she has, help to strengthen them. It's going to help to refine her pores. We said our primary objective with this is also to get a little more lightening and lifting in these areas where the pigmentation is. Now we will begin with our first initial acid pre-prep, and that's using the 25% AHA gel. We're going to saturate a 2x2 gauze with that, and I will apply it all over her skin, face and neck. My glove on for this. It can dry your fingers out, so I would wear a little glove with it when you do it. She probably won't need the fan with this, so we're going to go ahead and apply this acid and see how it feels to her. It's on here for about 3 to 5 minutes. This is an alpha hydroxy. It's 25% with a pH of 2.5. And it is a blend of glycolic, lactic, malic, tartaric, and citric acid. That's all 5 AHAs combined. And it's a good lifting, exfoliating mixture, also regenerating and supportive for the tissue overall. And in this case, what it's going to help do is soften up these cells of the stratum corneum so that when I go to apply the main acid peel, which is the apple wine, her skin's going to be able to drink it in and take it in better, more absorbable. Turn a little bit this way. Come back to the earlobes. Get into that hairline good. Make it very even. Now, as with all AHAs, once you get over higher percentages of usually 15% or more, with those lower pHs, you want to remove your alpha hydroxy. It does not neutralize itself, and if you leave it on the skin too long, it's going to continue to seep in there, and it can cause the skin to become irritated or burn the skin. So we're going to watch Sherry Lynn's skin. Like I said, 3 to 5 minutes is usually a good amount of time to let this stay on the skin. Okay, Sherry Lynn has got the 25% AHA gel on her skin. It's been on for 5 minutes, and so I'm going to rinse her real well with the cool water and the gauze. And we will see how her skin is done with this, which I can tell by looking at her that she's done beautifully, and no reason to stop and reassess. The beauty of layering is that with each layer you do, you can always stop, look at the skin, reassess, and determine whether you want to go on to the next step. And so we will definitely go on with the actual peel, but this little treatment that I did as the pre-prep can be a mild treatment in itself as a progressive application. So what I've done is poured the apple wine mixture in a beaker. Apple wine, oh, this is a great formula. There's so many ways to use this acid. Such a good mixture. That's why we call this the firming and toning peel, because that's what malic, which is from apples, and tartaric, which is taken from the grapes and the distilled wines. Both of those have firming and toning benefits for the skin. And and it does smell a lot like distilled vinegar. And actually this was an idea to do as a modified version from my French peel. So I just created this to be a mid-depth application. So now that she's got her eye pads on and I've saturated my gauze with the solution. In fact, I want to set my beaker down. It's not a good idea to hold your container with your acid in it while you're working. Hold those pads on if you need to. Firm pressure. Lay this solution into the skin nice and firm. And this first layer, let work into the skin, let it seep in there and stay for about 5 minutes. And then we will apply the second layer that will remain on for about 5 minutes. Okay, I want to resaturate just a little bit more. My gauze has gotten a little dry. And you want to constantly be aware of your saturation and the distribution of your acid on the skin so that you have an even peel. The area between the upper lip and the nose is too thin on some clients. Just use your cotton swab if this piece is too large to go in this area like that. You want to really be aware of not getting any of these acids in the nose. And sometimes if you get it too close and there's too much solution in this area, and they breathe in it all, they may get a little bit of it in the nose as well. Check your eye pads. Are you feeling okay? Mm-hmm. Usually the clients will not feel this first layer because it is an alpha hydroxy mixture. It's working into the skin and it takes a little time to seep down in there and start breaking up. And so once I apply the second layer in about 5 minutes, that's oftentimes when somebody will begin to feel the sensation of heat. And so we will watch Sherilyn's skin and see how she's doing in terms of any kind of unusual erythema. What you're watching for when a skin is in these types of acid, the erythema is fine. Redness is normal. You're going to have that with all of your peels. But what we don't want to see is a rash, any type of welts forming, blotchiness. If it's real sporadic on the skin, you want to stop and take notice of that. And if I were to see that right now on her skin as I'm waiting, what I would do is rinse the skin really well with cool water, flush it, and then roll the ice globes over her skin and let her calm down. And so if you ever do see those kinds of reactions, just stop what you're doing, stay calm, and remove everything. And usually by the time they're finished with that, whatever was going on has subsided and gone away anyway. Now we're going to resaturate the gauze and start the application again for the second layer. And this firming and toning peel works very nicely with our baby boomer peel, which is another multi-layered peel with a different acid. And I oftentimes will do these two in conjunction in a program. And we'll do this peel, and then in about 2 weeks we'll go into the baby boomer peel, which is just a little bit stronger in terms of acid strength. Now Sherilyn's skin is pretty tough. She can handle a lot. She doesn't usually feel too much intensity. I'm trying to get around here without dripping much or dripping at all. Okay. Do you feel that at all, Sherilyn? Do you feel any prickling?
A little.
Okay. And that's what you might feel initially with this. Again, depending on how much the skin's been pre-treated, how many peels they've had before, how aggressively you prepped the skin before you applied this acid. All of those things are going to be a factor in how a skin will absorb this and feel it. But the prickling is kind of one of the first sensations because this is an alpha hydroxy. But then sometimes the heat starts to come up and they'll feel a little bit more stinging sensation. and I'm going to use wet gauze that are cool to remove this. And you can tell when you're lifting this off of the skin because your gauze is going to change color, and you'll see some of that wine extract show up on your gauze. She's got some pinkness. Actually, the skin looks real pretty. Real nice glow. And you want to keep rinsing until you don't see any traces of this apple wine. Do you feel any place, Sherilyn, on your face, neck, anywhere around your eyes, nose, where it's tingling more than anywhere else? Or does it feel pretty much evenly the same all over?
Pretty much even.
Okay. The fan will help to dry the skin somewhat, but you want to go back if it's not completely dry and just blot it with your gauze. For obvious reasons, you're going to always have the skin be very dry before each application. If it's not, you're going to dilute whatever solution you put on the skin, and the results are not going to be the same. Take a look and see. Now we're going to take it a little further though, and as I mentioned earlier, to address the hyperpigmentation, we're saturating a gauze with the melanin suppressant. I use this a lot in almost all the peels in some way or another. I will put melanin suppressant on the skin or in the acid mixture. It just really gives you an extra boost in lightening the skin, and it also to help keep the melanin down in the skin. And this remains on the skin. That's why I did this at this stage and not with the apple wine. Now, I mean, I could have mixed a little bit of this in the apple wine mixture. It would have been okay to do, but I knew that was going to be rinsed, and I want this to remain on the skin. And so I'm putting it on first before we apply the final, which is the vitamin A peel. Now the vitamin A peel, I use this a lot. You'll notice in many of the peels that I have in the book, the procedures call for finishing a treatment with either the vitamin A peel or the beta A peel. Both are retinol preparations. One has alpha hydroxy, the other has beta, which is salicylic. And it always just, for many skins and many treatments, it adds that extra boost to the treatment to take them just a little further or to get a better outcome. And when you're going for a little lifting and peeling, this is a nice topper to the treatment. To give her, what she'll get is like a light residual peeling in about 2 to 3 days. That's why we have this as a mid-depth superficial peel. She'll be completed in a week, and you want to ask your clients to come back for a post-follow-up visit. Really, with so many of your peels, it's very wise for you to get them back in your office in a week so that you can look at and assess their skin, alleviate any problems in case something's going on that you need to address, and just for you to know that they're okay and that you add some antioxidants to the skin and start building it back up. Now Sherilyn will leave this on her skin. She's going to keep it on until tomorrow. She'll sleep in it. And I'm not using firm pressure, I'm just blending or smoothing it on. If you happen to put it on a skin that turns real yellow, or if one of the mixtures just seems to be a little thicker to you, the beta A peel, which is a little more orange, you can always take a little 2x2 gauze and smooth it in a little more, and that works really well to help eliminate some of that color. Turn your head like that. I'm coming up fairly high with this. Oops. Those hairs out. Because I want to get this upper cheekbone area and address some of the eye tissue. Not going directly under the eyes, but kind of skirting around, getting the crow's feet area and then up and around like this. It really helps to rejuvenate that tissue. Okay, and then we'll do a final application on the neck. Okay, Sherry Lynn has completed her firming and toning peel. We've finished the application of the vitamin A peel. We chose not to apply the omega-6, which it does say in your protocol, and you can do that on a drier skin, like I'd mentioned. And so she's going to have a really nice, brisk peeling over the next several days. We'll see her in 1 week for a post follow-up, and her skin is going to be really glowing and beautiful.
The good thing about the Rhonda Allison products is I actually have seen a difference in my skin that is continuing difference. I can stop using the products for 2 days if I'm camping or being active, and my skin still stays healthy, and I can go right back to using it, and it's an actual changing in my skin that's made it healthier.